Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to pick a few of our graphs from our pocket and try to help you figure out what we're doing with this foldable. Again, if this foldable does not help you, please do not use it. If you don't need any assistance on doing domain and range, do what you're doing and that is perfectly fine. This is for the people that are struggling, that can't look at a graph and figure out what domain and range is without any assistance. So for the circle one, I chose the circle one because a lot of people are unsure about it because it's not a straight line. I also chose what is number 6 on our little sheet because it's a straight line and it doesn't really go through many y values. So we're going to look at that. Now you should already have these answers on your page, but if not, pause the video and try to copy a few of these. Remember, I am taking up and checking notebooks this Friday. So again, pause the video if you need it. But we're going to be zoning in on number 1 and number 6. So we're going to figure out why our domain and range is what we have down. So first we're going to look at 1 and we're going to unfold our foldable. And we're going to put our graph in the middle. Now first we want to figure out our smallest x value. Our smallest x value, we're going to take our left flap, figure out the closest to this flap, the closest point of the graph. Our first point that we get to with our flap is right there. So on that line, our x value is 0 because it's at the origin. So our smallest x value for number 1 is going to be 0. Now the question is there a point on that line? Is there a point of the graph that goes through that line? Yes. So we're going to have a less than sign with a line underneath it, making it less than or equal to. Because we're talking about domain, we're going to have an x value. And then we've got to figure out our greatest value and if our greatest x value has a point on it or not. So we're going to take the right flap and figure out the first value or first point it goes through, and that would be right there. So right there on that line, our x value starting at the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be positive 4 because we're going to the right. It would be negative 4 if we had gone that way to the left. So positive 4 is my biggest x value. So I'm going to put 4 out to the side. Now we've got to figure out what my inequality is going to look like for my range. Or for my range of values of domain. It's always going to be less than because x is going to be less than 4. Now we got to figure out if there's a line in it or not, under it or not. Is there a point where x is 4? Yes, the point is right there. So we're going to put a line underneath our less than sign to make it less than or equal to. Now we have to figure out our range. So we're going to figure out our smallest y value. So I'm going to take my bottom value, or bottom flap, figure out what's my lowest point of my graph. Well, my lowest point is right there. So my lowest point is when y is 0. So at the origin, y is 0. So my smallest value is going to be 0. Now, is there a point where y is 0? Yes, it is right there. X is 2, y is 0, right there. So our range is going to be less than or equal to, instead of x, we're putting y. Now we've got to figure out the rest of it. So we've got to figure out our largest y value. So I'm going to take my top flap. I'm going to start from the top of my graph. I'm going to go down until I figure out my top y value or my top point of my graph. It's right there. So it's going to be that point right there is my tallest point. That is when y is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my biggest y value is 4. Now, is there a point when y is 4? So starting at the origin, going up 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where we are at. Is there a point there? Yes. So we're going to have the sign less than or equal to, because there is a y value at 4. Now we try number 6. Number 6 was the straight line. And it is facing this way. So we're going to start with our domain again. So our smallest x value, taking my left flap, starting all the way at the left side, going. So our smallest value, or our first value we get to, or first point, is right there. And it's at, starting the origin, 1, 2 to the left. So that'll be at -2 x value as our smallest value. So we're going to come down here in our domain. We have -2. Now we've got to figure out if there's a point at -2. Hopefully you saw that there is a point right there on it. So we're going to be able to put less than or equal to. And we're working with domain, so we have x. Now we've got to figure out what our greatest x value is going to be. So working with my right flap, start at the right side of the graph, going until I get to my point. Well, instead of a point, there's an arrow. Well, if there's an arrow, that means that this line is going to keep going all the way to positive infinity. So I don't have a specific value. This infinity goes on, so it's not really an exact value. So I come in here and my greatest value is infinity. Well, because infinity is that weird value that technically we can't be equals to infinity, we just put less than. Because whatever infinity is, x is going to be a little bit less than that. Now we got to talk about our range. So our smallest y value, taking our bottom, starting at the bottom of the graph, it will allow me, going up until I meet the graph, which is right there. My smallest y value is -1 because the origin is right there, and going down 1. If I go down 1, it's negative. Now my top y value, hopefully you know, starting at the top, going down until you hit the line, and it's at -1 as well. So either way, my x has to equal -1. There is no other y values. If you find that the ordered pair of this, it would be 1, 2, so it would be -2, -1. So this would be -2, -1. If we found a point here, it would be 1, 2, so it would be +2, -1. This arrow means that this line is going to keep going. So I could have a point here. There, the ordered pair would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would be 7. And then down 1 for my y value, so it'd be -1. So regardless, y is going to equal -1. So for our range, we're going to have y equals -1. Now, on your assessment, I am okay with you putting at -1 is less than or equal to y, also less than or equal to -1, just because we're still getting used to answering these questions. Now, in a little bit, there will be another video going through all of these and all of the problems that you needed to do on the back of your notebook, which was the matching activity.